Hey everybody, Tuesday. Hope you had a nice Memorial Day weekend. Nothing special happened here. Thankfully, the neighborhood stayed intact. The rain kind of helped. My neighbors across the street did start a cookout in the front yard. It's like they live in the country, and they're so loud. I was awakened this morning by they live across the street, but I'm waking up and I can hear one of the neighbors across the street yelling. I think he's yelling at his AI, but he's not saying Alexa. He's saying Alicia, Alicia. Now, I had noticed this before, thinking maybe he's just yelling at one of the women that lives there. But this morning it just said, "What?" And it's so loud. It's like sounds like they're just right outside. Anyway, cheers, people. Wearing my usual stuff. Just to let you know, yesterday was a golden day of the ears, and today the ringing is back. So I have those rare, they're not rare, I just can't predict when. It's like it can be a week, sometimes almost a week and a half of just straight ringing. Then all of a sudden I'll wake up one day and it's like quiet, like yesterday. Oh, it was like, so like it's in different levels. So it's not at the high. Yesterday was almost totally quiet. Today it's subtle, but as I can tell as the day goes on, it's going to get louder. Just thought I'd share that with you. So this is something I'm looking at on Facebook, and Wendy Gadzuk, who I've never met, but is a musician whose acquaintance I got through met through Alpha Stare, who I'm not in touch with any, but I consider him a musical part associate. And she shared with regards to yesterday, she said, "This Memorial Weekend, we honor those who died fighting for the freedoms which we are now losing." Couldn't have said it better myself. So, I will comment a little bit on comments because I I deleted one because it was friendly, but the person then went on to suggest to me how to run my channel, and it's like I don't want that. I'm not interested in somebody telling me how to do my thing, and I just keep reminding people I'm at home. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm not trying to formalize shit. If I was trying to formalize it, I'd do that Patreon shit, and then my response to people's suggestions would be different. I ask for people to support the channel when we have Bandcamp Fridays, but that's different. It's not being hired. I don't want this to be a job. The only job about this is when I get music, physical copies of music to review. That development from doing these videos for I guess for about 15 years now has been a good one, and I like that. But I'm not gonna be a request line. I'm not, and because sure enough, one leads to another. Just like yesterday, even people said, "Oh, I'm not requesting. I'm just it comes off the same to me. I'm gonna talk about what the fuck I want to talk about." So, new musical ideas are bubbling. Nothing to present, except that um, there's going to be I'll leave it, okay? I'm working on some new stuff. So yesterday was kind of a visual day. I like to download stuff and put it on a USB to watch on my big screen TV rather than just watching the internet through um, the TV because it hangs up. And you know how electronics are. You buy one and it's obsolete a year later, and I use stuff a long time. So my Blu-ray is is obsolete in some ways. It's like um, videos can be downloaded in 4K, but the USB can't read beyond 1080 or 1180, whatever it is. So in that sense, I use the YouTube out there to watch 4K stuff that I can't download. But I like to download because it's the same. It's like collecting. Okay, I can watch it when I want to. So, for example, yesterday I went through different moods, and I went through a heavy mood. I don't buy heavy metal records, but I like that music. So one of the bands I really like is Testament. Chuck Billy, I love his voice, and I love to see that big man sing. I just like American Indian, a true American. I love it. I love how he incorporates that into some of their songs. I also really like Alex Skolnick. I like his playing, and I like him as a person. We interact. He interacts with his fans on Instagram. Who else? Not so much the band, but the riffs. Lamb of God have some good riffs. Now, related to that, I watched part of a documentary on the band The Darkness, who I never liked and don't like now. And after seeing the movie about The Darkness, it explains why. This is cheap entertainment. Not for me. So when it comes to records, I played two yesterday. And I played them and I enjoyed them because of my ears. Yesterday was a golden ear day. Today is not bad. It's not as loud as it can be. So I decided to revisit the brand new Steven Wilson album, The Overview. Because I've listened to it, when it first came out, I listened to it several times trying to have it come into focus. And it still wasn't coming into focus. Yesterday, it came into focus. And partially because of video. Someone who went to a recent Steven Wilson live show videotaped it sneakily, as you can see, because they're in the audience, but I watched it. And as much as I am not interested in going to live shows these days, live shows that make live performance of music can make all the difference, especially to me. Something that may not resonate when I hear it on the record, when I see it done live, makes a difference. And that was the case with the new Steven Wilson. Watching them perform it live, I said, oh, yeah. This is ambitious. I also watched another recent interview where he talks about what he's trying to do with this, with the music here. The idea that we start at a certain point in space, and as we reach the end of the album, we're further and further away, further and further out, like we're traveling through the cosmos. Now that's a big concept to try to take on. I can't say that I think that Steven was actually able to completely realize that idea after hearing him talk about it, but that I said, oh, that's what you're after here. Like the way that the album ends softly with the saxophone. It's like I can imagine it like we are beyond the 13 billion year point that we understand. We used to think was the Big Bang. Now I'm going to tell you something. As far back as my teen years, starting to study physics in high school, I didn't agree with the Big Bang. I thought it was wrong, and sure enough, come to find out, it probably was. This idea of a big explosive beginning to everything that was all we could handle. That's all that humans could handle. I didn't think it was right. We still don't know. It could be, but it's looking like it. No, it's looking like. So I'm gonna get back because I'm gonna talk about the other record I listened to, the other Steven Wilson record recently released. But when we try to fathom reality and what it really is, it's a brain buster. But I love to contemplate it, and I love to hear smart people talk about concepts, because if there's an edge to reality, if reality ends, like if our universe, including all the dark matter and dark energy, if there's an end point to it, well, what's beyond the end point? Why is there an end point? Is there such thing as nothing? And I don't think so. I don't think there is nothing. There is no such thing as nothing. Another thing that I've thought, and I'll show the next record and be quiet, being silly. For a long time, it came to me, probably about 20 years ago, the thought, because we don't know what dark matter and dark energy are, even though they take up the majority of what we can comprehend about reality. My thought is dark matter and dark energy are pure consciousness from which temporal reality emerges. But that in itself, the dark matter, the dark energy that we can't define and we can't grasp, that's what we are. That is us. That's what this manifestation emerges from. Dark matter and dark energy are consciousness in its purest form. I'll go into the next record in a second, but for a long time, and still a lot of people have the idea of space-time being that is reality. I haven't thought that for a long time, and science is agreeing that, space-time is a construct of our senses. Consciousness is the closest word we can get to what reality probably is. I find it all very fascinating and interesting. So the other record I played, 3 of the 4 sides, and then something came up, was the Steven Wilson album before his latest, The Harmony Codex. Is the new album an improvement? It's not an improvement, it's another idea. It's not a continuation of this. The main thing that I got from listening to this album, is how Steven Wilson truly is a sonic architect. My favorite color. Besides the music being ambitious, the way that it's recorded is fan-freaking-tastic. I can imagine that these records do sound amazing on those sound systems, the ones I haven't heard yet. Steven Wilson is a proponent of them. I can't think of the word now. You know what I'm talking about, though, where it's completely surround, up, down, around. This is recorded beautifully. I have an original copy of the original copy of the Chicago second album. Steven Wilson just remixed it. I'm not going to buy it, but I want to hear it because he did a bang up job on the Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii. Sonically, that's just amazing. It really is. So back, just like I say, This is not a formal show. I'm at home, waking up. Someone says, Dereck, you had me laughing with your Hawkwind memories. It too was part of the same. I too had the same experience. First gig was Hawkwind and Stasia, but they're in the UK. Very cool. Yeah, it was like, I'm just a typical human being, very sexual, even though I'm single, been alone for a long time. I deal with it. But I'm visual as man, them boobies popped out. Shit. And I was right up front. But I wasn't on her side of the stage. I was over in front of Lemmy and Simon House. I already knew who Simon House was because of High Tide, so I was a kid. I was maybe 17, 18. So I was just digging the fact that I got to see them, I probably would have moved over to the Stasia side, but I was just entranced by Dave Brock, Lemmy, and Simon House. They were high as fuck. And I forgot to mention yesterday, Rush was the opening band. But once Hawkwind got going, I forgot all about Rush. DJ Trish talks about how it's hard for her to talk about her parents because she misses them. Kudos to you for keeping it together while talking about your past. Sometimes it's hard. I have had in the past a couple times where I started a video, started talking about something, and it led to tears, and I stopped. And so that video never got loaded. But family and friendship and love is very important to me. And I cherish my family and my friends. I miss them. I am a little frustrated with myself because they're so far away, and really the only way to see them is to fly, and I don't want to fly. I really don't want to ever get on a plane again. And my sister's having a show. She's having an art exhibit next month, and she really wants me to go. She's using my music in her, I don't know if it's an exhibit or what. Sounds like it is, but she's going to use my music as the background. She really wants me there. I'd like to be there. I don't want to fly. But family is real important, and friendship is very important. I don't have to be up in your face all the time to know that you care about me and I care about you. I'm good with that. Yeah, Hosono is amazing. He is. He is amazing. And I'll just talk about what I feel like talking about, okay? I don't need suggestions. If anything, it'll just bring out the facetiousness in me to do the opposite, okay? That's why I'm still here. So to wrap this up, when I pulled the other day, it made me think about the fact that there's a section here where, like right here by the Alfonso Johnson and stuff. Let me pull this section. What do we get here? Because this is around Alfonso Johnson and Elvin Jones. Let's see what's here. Okay, I'll wrap it up from this. Take care, folks. I care about you all, and I care about the world very much. I may talk more about AI because I have some more thoughts, but Hilton Keen Jones. This is one of those university records. Performances by Eastman School of Music Ensemble. East Montage. excuse me, what's interesting about this is that the Hilton Keen Jones side is a mixture of, it's a realization of the Eastman Electronic Music Studio, okay? But on the B side, we have some classical interpretations and a Chuck Mangione tune, Boys with Toys. So that's of interest. I haven't listened to this in a long time. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, see, this is my Elvin Jones, Polycurrents. I wish I could have seen him play. I sure do. Time Capsule. You know, as much as he drank, he was an amazing musician. Amazing. It really is amazing how some of these guys were just off the chain with their personal habits, being junkies and drunks and shit, and playing music like nobody's business. Here's one that I picked up that I still have to listen to and get familiar with. Elvin Jones, the Elvin Jones Jazz Machine. Yeah, I don't remember this one. I showed you all this one. This is one of my two favorite Jones albums, Genesis. If you've never heard this, this is real cool, like the cover. And it starts off, that first track. I can hardly see it. It's fucking killer. As well as this one I showed, On the Mountain. This one, there's a joy to this album. There's a joyous feeling to a lot of the playing on this album. And it's like the album On the Mountain, it's the title track, that when that comes on, it's like the sun gets brighter and the air in the room gets warmer. This album, and Jan Hammer, someone really got mad in the comments. I just deleted. They said, please say his name right. I've been saying Jan Hammer like a yank. Jan Hammer. This album is amazing. And I have a couple more. I wouldn't endeavor to buy all of his albums, but I have not been disappointed with any of them that I bought. Mr. Jones on Blue Note now. George Coleman, Joe Farrell on here. Get out of here. Pepper Adams, see? Candido. He played with the best, always. Last one I have here is Merry-Go-Round. Mr. Jones. When I say that, of course, I think of the Counting Crows, who I respect, and I have their first album, Counting Crows, on CD because I got it as a promo. But that's an example of a kind of music that just doesn't, it's good. He is good. I just recently watched him with Rick Beato, the interview, and Adam Derwitz, decent guy, honest. I like honest people. So I respect him, but I don't want to listen to no damn Counting Crows. Here's one of those inner city records by a lesser known musician that's decent. It's Wayne Johnson, Arrowhead. I thought I had two of his albums. I do. They're all mixed. It's jam shit. But Flim Johnson, who I met when he was playing, with Alan Holdsworth, is on bass here. These guys are good players. Bill Berg on drums. Good players. And this is the kind of stuff you can still find pretty cheap because nobody knows about it. And here's another one. Same players. And it looks like, no. Okay. Small label, Allegiance. Wayne Johnson Trio. Grasshopper. Good stuff. It is. And here, this is an example of a topical album that the song was so important to me when it came out, and it was like a ghetto, and I use the word lovingly ghetto. It was a ghetto hit. You couldn't hear it on the radio, but you heard it like you heard it on the radio in the black community, in my community. Syl Johnson, Is It Because I'm Black? And then when we finally did have, for a short time, a black-owned FM station, they played it. Syl Johnson, who has a cool voice. In general, his choice of material is not what I care for, okay? But that song is so strong, and the words, Is It Because I'm Black? So on point. It's sad, because the situation is sad. It's an amazing piece of work, that song, Is It Because I'm Black? Scott Johnson is something I picked up because I saw that it was on Nonesuch. John somebody, I have to play this again. Guitarist, I think he's already passed away. It explains on the back, and there's something about the way this was composed that is interesting. I need to play it again, but Scott Johnson. Here is an example of a singer, a white singer-songwriter who I got turned on to through a friend who turned me on to Gordon Lightfoot. And when I got turned on to Gordon Lightfoot, it was a revelation, because Gordon Lightfoot was a cut above, not just as a songwriter, but also as a performer. So when my friend turned me on to this guy, he knew what he was doing. He'd found another rare gem of a singer-songwriter who did become commercially successful to a degree. Michael Johnson, There Is a Breeze. Have you heard this album? If you like this sort of thing. This was reissued, and I had a reissue of it until I found this original on Sanskrit. He has a beautiful voice, but like other singer-songwriters that I really respect, the musical arrangements are absolutely vital. So this is just wonderful to listen to. And he does a lot of material that you would hear from these type of people, like songs by Jackson Browne, My Opening Farewell. He does Study in E minor by Villa-Lobos on here. And Jacques Brel, he does Jacques Brel. He does The Old Folks by Jacques Brel on here. That is touching to me. That has actually had me choked up at least once while listening to it. Fabulous. I know what I like. And then the one after it, even better. And you can tell by the cover I played the hell out of this album. Michael Johnson, For All You Mad Musicians. And he got it right. This is for musicians. This is very, very, very good. And his choice of material, which is even as Here Comes the Sun. Fantastic. I'm glad I'm doing this. So, here's more of my absolute top favorite albums in my collection. Michael Johnson, okay? How many of you people knew about Michael Johnson? Tell me. How many of you people have Michael Johnson in your collection? Tell me. And then, Matt Johnson of his first album for 4AD, Burning Blue Soul. This is an original. I've had it since almost it came out. Somehow I knew about because I read. And this still to me is an exceptional album. His craft as a songwriter and music arranger grew since then, but this is psychedelic. And when you hear it, you know what I mean. He plays with the sound on this a lot, and the structure of the songs is a little wayward. You're not sure what's going to happen next. I love it. This is an amazing album. Burning Blue Soul by Matt Johnson, The. Just a few more. Well, two more because it ends with this, and I already showed this the other day. And I listened to it, and what I said about it, I stick to. It doesn't succeed at what it's trying to do, but the music is good. It's just not together. Mark Johnson, Bass Desires, ECM. You know, you guys that love jazz and ECM, you know how good this album is. And Mark Johnson is originally from Omaha. I didn't know him, didn't even know that until recently, that Mark Johnson, this bass player, was originally from Omaha. Good album. And then the last thing, In Concert, Lenton Kwesi Johnson with the dub band. Jamaican poet, on point. You know, he tells it like it is, and he has a cool voice in this. So there you go. Geez, I gave you a half hour when I was thinking I was just gonna talk a little bit. So there you go, folks. So the other thing I want to say before I go, when I catch hold of an interest, it stays until the next thing comes into focus. So right now I'm looking at my feed, which is tailored to the algorithm is showing me more videos about people discussing AI. And I think it's something to pay attention to. There's no escaping it already. So yesterday I noticed on my phone, I went to ask a question. I went to make a query with Google, and the first thing that it answers with is, and it says it, AI generated response at the top of everything. And what I can see may eventually happen, and these smart people are saying it, is that while at this time we consider ourselves using AI to assist us, many people are using the assistance to actually do the work because the AI can do it quicker and maybe more comprehensively. At what point are we completely just doing what AI says and AI is actually in charge? And the potential danger is the idea that at some point the AI, even though it's not one, that AI is many different platforms and applications. It's not just one central AI. But just like the internet, if and when you start to bundle them together and they all start to work in concert, it seems very possible that at some point the AI, in its doing its efficient work, will realize or come to a point where it's like, the humans who are employing me are actually a distraction and a hindrance. I think that's very possible. So that's what some of the smart thinkers are saying is one of the possible outcomes. But the genie is already out of the bottle. That I can see. The genie is already out of the bottle. Interesting times. That's what I have to say, folks. Talk to me. Always thinking about you, Stephanie. Kareem, if you watch this, Adrian. Love you all. I love my family so much. Take care, y'all.